Apologize. From the Warning's new album, Keep Me Fed. Official lyrics video, first time reaction. I will be pausing a lot, so there's that. You guys, I'm giddy about this one because I know things about this song. I know that at some point in the song, Miss Drummer Pau will kindly request that I express my regret for past misdeeds, which is so nice of her. That's gonna be my favorite thing. And it's just nothing that makes me happy as much as women screaming at me. Oh. I also know that the song is about those situations when somebody does something that creates a mess that now you have to deal with. Kind of like the other day when I opened the fridge and a bunch of cucumbers fell over. And there was nobody to apologize for that anywhere around. So, I stuffed them back in, and then I wasn't there later to apologize to whoever opened it next. No, I have to say, I am feeling a bit goofy about this song and excited, and I don't know what to expect. I've only heard those two things talked about in interviews. I do wish I didn't know about the Scream, but I'm sure it will be delightful anyway. Enough, dear darling. Let there be music.
I only ache in the wake of a broken never. There is no thrill in the crime. I have lost the pleasure. Skin on skin means nothing if there is no blood to bleed. Simply quenching hunger doesn't kill the need. Hands always move on their own. Self-inflicted torture, feel, imitate, stimulate. Futuristic horrors, basking in the glory of our manufactured vice. Fade away to nothing, 'cause now nothing will suffice.
Before whatever's about to drop drops, let me check that verse. That was a long verse. Look at all those words. Alright, I'm a bit stumped with this one. Now, if you click here, it explains basically the stuff that I have heard in interviews. Most notably, it says that the song is about being pissed and having resentment towards somebody that messed you up in some way and having to deal with the aftermath, which is a bit more broad than the cucumber anecdote that I offered earlier. It's being pissed and having resentment towards someone that messed you up in some way. Definitely much less goofy than what I had in mind than dealing with the aftermath. I'm still not sure I see that. Now, the annotations, the first one is just a reference to Sick again, which doesn't help in any way. The second one says that she's starting arguments on purpose because she's bored. That's for the words basking in the glory of our manufactured vice, which makes sense, but I don't understand what that has to do with being messed up by somebody and being angry at them and having to deal with the aftermath. Like, I can't connect those things. Okay, upon committing a few more hamsters to spin the wheels of my brain, this actually does kind of make sense in the context of what they have said the song is about. So she, when I say she, I mean the speaker of the song, she only aches in the wake of a broken never, which means broken never is something that shouldn't happen, that has happened. And that's the only time that she feels pain. There is no thrill in the crime, and I have lost the pleasure. That refers to the person not being there to bear the consequences of their actions. Now, whether somebody messing you up and being there for you to be pissed at is something that I would call a thrill or pleasure, well, I wouldn't. But I think that's the general state of the speaker of the song. And to be fair, if you're pissed, you probably want someone to take it out on. So even if generally speaking you don't think that would be a thrill or a pleasure, at the time you probably do. And skin on skin means nothing if there's no blood to bleed. To me means skin on skin is where they have messed you up, but they're not there, so there's no blood to bleed, meaning they're not here to bear the consequences of their actions. All of the highlighted lines, to me, sound like the speaker has an intense feeling to express her anger towards the person who is responsible for it, but not being able to. Simply quenching hunger doesn't kill the need. And I'm not sure if that was on purpose. As far as I'm aware, and English speakers, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but quenching is used for thirst on like liquids in general. You can quench fires and all that, but like not hunger. So maybe they did that on purpose because it doesn't kill the need, right? It doesn't get the job done. The same way that you can't quench hunger. Or maybe I'm wrong and that's how the words are used. In any case, the statement is the same. Doing something about the anger doesn't really make the anger go away. Hands always move on their own, self-inflicted torture. To me, sounds like someone who is going about, I'm imagining someone who's pacing around, and because they said hands move on their own, just waving their hands and being angry and pissed. Maybe they're monologuing or something. And that is a self-inflicted torture because it doesn't do anything but make things worse. You're just digging into the anger. Feel, imitate, stimulate. Futuristic horrors are the things that are being felt, imitated, and stimulated. So the kind of thing that goes like, if I get my hands on that dirtbag, I'm gonna squeeze the life out of them. You know, that kind of thing. Basking in the glory of our manufactured vice. Now, I'm not sure why it says our. Maybe it's because they believe that those feelings, because I connect this to the futuristic horrors mentioned in the line above. Basking in the glory means enjoying imagining those, you know, horrible things that you want to do to that other person. But it's our manufactured vice because the speaker only imagines those things because of what the other person did. So it's ours, belongs to both of us. And of course, fade away to nothing, because now nothing will suffice. Which of course means whatever the speaker can do right now, it will not suffice. So they just have to ride out the anger, fade away to nothing. Alright, back at it. Let's go back a few seconds. As I recall, something was amping up there.
Wasting breath, waiting for nothing, 'cause you
I can feel it.
won't apologize. Clean the mess that you made.
Oh my God. I did not expect it there, I have to say. I just heard I heard Danny say apologize quietly. I was like, man, that was so good, so quiet and full of venom. And I guess, well, maybe they do it later. Then it came from left field. Hey man, it's morning and my day is already complete. Okay, this bit was so good. It was so good. So they did all of those things that I explained. Basically, they're stoking the fire of their anger, and they're like, what I'm imagining is someone just furiously pacing around and grumbling to themselves and being angry about things. If you look at that person just behaving that way from afar, I imagine the most reasonable reaction will be, I'm not getting close to that. No, not getting in the line of fire. So it was very heightened up. Then they amped it up a bit more after the first verse, and then they went down into the pre-chorus. Let's see if I can. Right?
Our manufactured voice. Fade away to nothing, 'cause now nothing will suffice.
Up,
I
down.
don't mean
And the reason that I think this is so beautiful is because I'm sure that you will understand exactly what I mean. Sometimes when somebody is so pissed at you and they start speaking quiet, that's the scariest thing. That's the thing that sends shivers down my spine. And especially if they give you the look and they speak quietly and they say things like this. I don't mean to make you nervous when you know they're pissed at you. Oh my god. I've been sad but not depressed is probably a way to communicate that, well, that the person is sad, but they're sad in an angry way. Whereas depressed would be someone who just feels down about whatever's happened. And sad on itself doesn't mean angry, but in that context, the context just makes me insert anger everywhere. Wasting breath, of course, is the talking. Waiting for nothing, because, as they say, you won't apologize. And then after that, like, just imagine you're on the other side of this. They say this with a quiet voice when you know they're pissed, and then they go silent for a bit. And just when you think, okay, maybe I got away with it, you did not get away with it. Let's go from the louder to the quiet, and then hear the music and the scream again.
fade away to nothing, 'cause now nothing will suffice. I don't mean to make you nervous. I've been sad but not depressed. Wasting breath, waiting for nothing, 'cause you won't apologize.
Ah! I'm sure you heard it, but when they go to this line, there was no instrumentals, and of course she whispered apologize, and then they hit the strong notes. Oh my god. Again.
Nervous, I've been sad but not depressed. Wasting breath, waiting for nothing, 'cause you won't apologize. Apologize.
This song is a blessing. Please carry on.
Clean the mess that you made. Own up to the blame at the end of the day. So easy to say it's not your fault now. It's not your fault now. Apologize.
Okay, now the about section here explains how this song almost didn't happen because they didn't have a chorus. However, producer Anton Delos, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, brought new life to the song, and the band ended up writing the chorus in 2 minutes. What that tells me is that this chorus came very natural to what they wanted from the song, because they just felt it and they wrote it. And it is very simple. Clean up the mess that you made, own up to the blame. At the end of the day, so easy to say it's not your fault now. That is obviously the part where the speaker has to deal with the aftermath of the mess that the other person has done, and the other person refusing to own up and do something about it. And what does that mean? The speaker is pissed. Again.
Clean the mess that you made. Own up to the blame at the end of the day. So easy to say it's not your fault now. It's not your fault now. Apologize.
Real quick, I love that the second "It's Not Your Fault Now" has a question. That really brings it out. Also notice how before verse 2 she's taking a breath, which is another one of those, and you know it's coming. They're painting the picture of the song so well again. I love it. I love those little details that they've done. They keep doing in the different songs.
Nails on my skin just to check if my heart's still beating. Head in my hands, only I hear the quiet screaming. Shaking turns to crying in my short-lived fake delight. The bitterness of trying haunts me through the night.
Thought I slam it down again. Why is she saying delight? Nails on my skin just to check if my heart's still beating. Now, that's not a medical thing, as far as I'm aware. This is the kind of thing where they say pinch yourself to make sure you're not sleeping, which, by the way, doesn't work. I've tried it. That's where you want to feel pain to make sure you're still alive. That's my read on it anyway. Head in my hands, only I hear the quiet screaming. That's exactly as it says. And I have to say, those two lines, and shaking turns to crying, escalate the level of anger that is being portrayed. This seems downright dangerous. I'm not sure why it's called short-lived fake delight. Maybe by delight she means the screaming, the nails on the skin, and the crying, which are ways to relieve the pressure, and that's why they call it fake. But I don't have a strong read on this. Okay, if I were to go deep, and I should put a warning here about how far off the interpretation is going to get, but emotional tears contain endorphins, which is painkillers. So maybe that's the fake delight? But I doubt they went that far. The bitterness of trying holds me through the night. Clearly this means sleepless nights. Question is she bitter because she's trying to contain the anger, or because she's trying to clean up the mess? Either way, it works. Okay, now I didn't read anything, but I did spy that the next pre-chorus is longer, so I wonder what's gonna happen there. More kind requests for the other person to express regret, no doubt.
Haunts me through the night. And I don't mean to make you nervous. I've been sad but not depressed. Lately I've been feeling something when I'm high up on my meds. I'm smiling at a screen, wearing a name that's not my own. It's only in these moments when you truly feel alone. Apologize.
Oh my god. Sorry, I should have waited for the whole thing, but wait, I need to hear that again. The guitar after Apologize, I want to hear that again.
That's not my own. It's only in these moments when you truly feel alone. Apologize.
Oh my god.
Apologize. Apologize.
Was that something? Wow. This pre-chorus expanded my view on the speaker of the song. The previous one, they said the same first two lines, and I don't mean to make you nervous. I've been sad but not depressed, wasting breath, blah blah blah, apologize. Here they said, lately I've been feeling something when I'm high up on my meds. That goes way deeper than I thought. So is she on meds because she's going crazy because of the mess that they're singing about? Or was she prone to that beforehand and the mess just sent her over the edge? Based on how, I would say, out of proportion this whole thing is being blown up, which might not be the case because we don't know what exactly happened, but it seems like a very strong reaction, so maybe it was someone who was unstable beforehand, and then something happened, and it pushed them even beyond. I imagine this is where they started taking extra meds, which is why they are high on the meds, although they could be strong meds that just get you high even with a normal dose. I'm smiling at a screen wearing a name that's not my own. That just sounds to me like, I don't know, a psychotic episode? Someone who is truly high out of their mind. It's only in these moments when you truly feel alone, pushes the narrative towards the speaker losing her mind even more. This really looks to me like a villain backstory. They show you what happened in the mind of that person who ended up doing, whatever horrible things the villain did. And it's one of those where you can't really blame her, again, depending on what actually happened. It makes sense, but it is still disturbing. I don't know what exactly to expect of this song. I certainly, though, would have never guessed this. And I'll also tell you a short story, just to round up the way that I view this song in its entirety so far. Meaning, we see what's happening inside the mind of the speaker, but the situation involves at least one other person, right? And a more holistic view would consider that as well. So I lived in Dublin for a while, and there was this random dog that was painted on some corners. I think it was a pug, but I'm not sure. And it said things like, be kind or whatever. And one of those things were, you don't know what's going on in other people's heads. Be kind always. And this song reminds me of it because I imagine that from the outside you don't see all of this. Even though, all the mannerisms that I explained in the first verse that I imagined, those will be very obvious. But if you look at it from the other person's point of view, maybe they did something they don't think it's a big deal, and they don't realize how far off they're sending the speaker of the song with those actions. Because as the dog said, you don't know what's happening in other people's heads. What you think is harmless and not a big deal could be a mental breakdown. Now let's hear that mental breakdown again. The instrumental pauses there are top notch. And I feel like I said that in the past two songs that I checked as well, but it was true in all three songs so far. The guitar noises seem very well chosen for the mental state they seem to be portraying. And also, I suspect when they say I've been sad but not depressed, maybe they mean literal depression. And maybe that's another way to interpret this is if we imagine people in a relationship and the speaker is bipolar, and when they say I've been sad but not depressed, that's communicating or trying to communicate the general state that the speaker is feeling because their partner knows that they're prone to depression. But now I'm definitely reading too much into it. So let's just hear the chorus again. The third one. I wonder what they'll do with it. They usually do something with each chorus, really. But the last one usually has to have the best whatever they decided to do. Bring it up a notch. There's an outro as well, so don't worry, I won't skip it. This bit is pretty much the previous three choruses, and here they kind of double it in length. Whether we decide to look at the story of the song as people who are in a relationship or not, this to me reads like the other person is communicating through text, which is why she says a name on a screen. Me sorting to me and your hands are clean would be presumably the person saying that it's not their fault through text, which is why she goes into the it's not your fault now after this. So this is what I imagine the events that are being portrayed are. And of course, she demands an apology. Now let's hear the outro. Oh, they
Clean
just...
the mess that you made, own up to the blame. At the end of the day, so easy to say it's not your fault now. It's not your fault now.
Let me know if I'm reading too much into it, but... So the song ended, and she kept going on about it. That really sounds like they tried to make the speaker as someone who just won't let it go, which maybe is something that you would have picked up from the rest of the song, maybe not, but I think the outro kinda nudges you in that direction. They even stopped all the music, and then she started talking about it again.
Clean the mess that you made, own up to the blame. At the end of
Is that a piano? I'm just thinking what they would do with that live if it's a piano. They'd probably just play it on the guitar.
the day, so easy to say it's not your fault now. It's not your fault now.
Okay, I am fairly new to music. I have not done any ear training. So once more, I may be off base, but at the end, was that a dissonant chord? Up to the second, it's not your fault now. Up to that point, everything sounds consonant, which, wait, let me see if I can pull up. Right, well, Google pretty much says that consonant means it has harmony, and then dissonant means it doesn't have harmony. Just listen to it, kind of sounds like there's something, like one note out of the whole chord that just doesn't sound well with the others. And when I say doesn't sound well, that doesn't mean that it's bad. I actually personally really like dissonant chords. I love the sound of it, which is maybe why I think I'm hearing it.
So easy to say it's not
Oh,
your
normal?
fault now.
Yeah. And now?
It's not your fault now.
This last one. Or I may be off base, who knows? Wait. This song has 2 choruses. Interesting. I suppose the verses were a bit long, and also they had an outro. And it's still a long song, 3 minutes 41 seconds is on the longer side that I have seen. Of course there are songs that are like 7 minutes or whatever. Well, I can already tell you, in the second one they did apologize 3 times and then they did the long chorus. But let's see if there's anything musical beside that. Wow, she said smiling at a screen wearing a name that's not my own. My brain just turned screen into a mirror last time. Right here. So if we look at this as being texting again, as I assume the other part is where she mentioned screen, that's probably the other person. Then why would she specify that's not my own? What? Oh. Alright, here's yet another take. Perhaps this is not about people who are in a relationship, but just a general online reaction. So she's smiling at a screen while she's wearing a name that's not her own, because it's an online nickname, right? Your Reddit username or your Twitter handle or whatever. And why is she smiling? I don't know. Maybe because she's high on her meds and she's totally lost it. Maybe something else. So in that case, a name on a screen means nothing to me. Would be she doesn't know who to direct her anger to. Hypnotic machine would be being stuck in social media, basically, in a social media cycle where she can't stop doing that, engaging with trolls online, I suppose. Or people who don't mean to troll but end up doing that anyway. Online arguments, I'm sure. I'm sure most of you know a thing or two about that. It's hard to exist in this day and age without having experienced it. And your hands are clean because she has no idea who you are. Okay, if we look at the song as an online argument, this changes a few things from my initial guesses in verse 1. And actually this annotation makes a lot more sense as well. Let's start with this. Hands always move on their own self-inflicted torture. That's typing online. You go online, you start typing, and it's self-inflicted torture because there is no thrill in the crime. I have lost the pleasure. Meaning she used to start arguments on purpose because she was bored. Maybe. Now that's still a bit of a stretch. But it would make sense that she goes online to seek engagement with people. Maybe she's the troll, right? She just gets caught with her own net. And futuristic horrors could be like modern horrors, actually. Now again, this is also a stretch, but futuristic horrors could be seeing the modern online situation, the digital world as, you know, futuristic, even though it's in the present now. And feel, imitate, stimulate is trying to evoke feelings within yourself by perhaps starting arguments online. Perhaps she needs stimulation that she doesn't get from real life. That's why she's imitating it online. She's doing something to create some kind of feeling. For the rest of the first verse, I think my initial interpretation still works, just a bit different setting. And only I hear the quiet screaming, which I initially assumed when she says quiet, it was either too quiet literally for people around her to hear, or she meant silent but said quiet. But if she's alone in her room, then there's nobody to hear her screaming, right? People on the other side of the screen, they wouldn't hear that. And the short-lived fake delight could be whatever she's doing to try and get some stimulation from the online world. That would make more sense as fake delight than my previous guess, I think. And trying could refer to that or something else. Furthermore, the bitterness of trying haunts me through the night. Perhaps she's talking about trying to induce that delight, which she considers fake. through the night, meaning she spends whole night arguing with people online. It's only in these moments when you truly feel alone for someone who is getting their fix of life, the emotions that they're seeking, which could be any emotions, right? Because she's not getting good emotions out of this, but she still seeks them because she wants to feel something. Whatever the case, she truly feels alone when she's getting her fix from online interactions. And I'm imagining this is where there's a glimpse of realization of what's actually happening, and it hits her, and she feels really alone because of it. Wow. Wow, I really went through so many things with this song. Okay, back to the last chorus.
It's only in these moments when you truly feel alone. Apologize.
Yes!
Apologize.
I want to hear this live. I want to hear the whispering and the screaming. That's such a beautiful juxtaposition between the two. It's beautiful.
In these moments when you truly feel alone. Apologize.
This bit is so good.
Apologize. Apologize.
So I have to say, online argument with random people is now my favorite interpretation. I'm just imagining someone screaming at a screen and there's nothing they can do about it because it's just a screen. I see, this is where they mention that this is about being pissed and having a resentment towards somebody that messed you up in some way, rather than what I keep saying, someone who has made a mess that you have to clean up. I think this is very deliberately worded like that because it's not supposed to be, like, for example, what I was kind of thinking about as a more serious example rather than the cucumber, which was a humorous example, was, say, if you go to work and if somebody has made a mess, one of your colleagues that you're going to be taking over for them, and now they're leaving because they've done their time, and now you have to deal with it. And you're like, I understand this is how it works, but buddy, at least apologize, please. That's kind of what I was going with it, but I'm not sure that's the case. Or rather, it could be. You can, of course, interpret art in any way you want, whatever works for you. But being pissed and having resentment towards somebody that messed you up. So you can be messed up by someone who's arguing with you online, right? Someone just sent you over the edge on X. That's being messed up. And then you have to deal with the aftermath, where the aftermath here is poor mental state as presented in the song. Although I feel that's a very extreme example with, the meds and all that. Anyway, third time's the charm. Let's get to the chorus.
Clean the mess that you made. Own up to the blame. At the end of the day, so easy to say it's not your fault now. It's not your fault now. A name on a screen means nothing to me. Hypnotic machine. Your hands are clean. It's not your fault now. It's not your fault now. Apologize.
I'm not sure if they did it every time, but they put an exclamation mark before apologize there.
Nothing 'cause you won't apologize. Apologize.
It seems like they always do it when she screams. Well, I would say that this song lived up to my hype. I would love to hear the live rendition, especially because I'm thinking the scream in Evolve is very much a background thing in the studio version. In the live version, it steals the show. So I wonder if they're gonna do something like that with this song as well, where the scream is going to sound different. Maybe, maybe not. I would love to find out. Maybe some video from the tour is gonna pop up soon and I'll get to hear it. But I will have to say, as much as I truly enjoyed listening Miss Drummer Paulina kindly request Resentment, I think the whispering was my favorite part, and the way that they go into it.
Suffice.
The drums pick up, and then it stops. You got only the guitar, and then that stops as well, and then she delivers the lines.
'Cause now nothing will suffice.
Singing goes up as well.
I don't mean to make you nervous. I've been sad but not depressed. Wasting breath, waiting for nothing 'cause you won't apologize.
The quiet apologize, and then the storm of the instrumentals. And then a bit later... Oh, this song makes me happy, y'all. I think I've said all I had to say. Love this song. Take care. Have a good one.